Greetings escapers! Since the patch point 12 should be here any day now, I decided to make a video about stash management dedicated for standard edition owners. However, some of this information may be still useful for other edition owners. Of course, a lot of this may change with the new patch and hideout implementation, but I think most of the information should stay relevant after the new patch goes live. Okay, so the first and the most important rule I found to be the real space saver is just selling everything I will not be using in near future. You should also consider selling stuff that you can easily rebuy from vendors. Be aware too, while it's pretty straightforward advice, hoarding can easily get better of you. So the rule of thumb is, when in doubt, just sell the item. For example, I try to sell all chest rigs and extra magazines. Those items takes a lot of space when you start collecting them, and you can almost always buy the good enough version of them from low-level vendors. Some people like to use vests as early containers and it has some merits to it. Downsides are, you can put only small items in them and also you will probably have to click a lot to find what you want. If that's not a problem for you, you will gain some extra space. Battlestat Games hinted there will be changes to chest rigs in the next patch, so you will have to figure out what to use then. What are you looking for is just space of vests in stash compared to space it gives for storage. Simple as that. In the current patch we have items that mostly nets you 4 to 8 space and an absolute beast, the Vortech TV110 plate carrier, giving you 23 slots just for 12 squares. Since we talk about early containers, make sure to stack your backpacks. You can store one backpack in another one and so on. You can also put some items in the last backpack in stack, so you essentially don't lose space in stash by doing so. Just make sure to not put there something you will need often. I usually use that space for streamer items, as they will be needed for the last quest in the game and they are pain in the ass to gather. Be aware too, some quests require you to turn in specific vests and backpacks. Sadly, the game doesn't check if anything is stored in them while you do this, so you may lose something you forgot was there. Because of that, always double check if you are turning the right items. If you can't trust yourself enough about this, don't put anything in your vest and backpacks. Alright, we drifted a little from the first rule stating that you should sell everything you will not be using in near future. That rule should also be applied to high-end gear you find early in the game. While it may be very tempting to save it for later or use it right away, the thing is, you may as well just die in the very first raid with said gear. For me, it's not worth the risk and I just sell it, to get one step closer to the real game changer, first few containers. What exactly I mean when I talk about high-end stuff? Essentially everything that is meta for the endgame or just worth a lot, like tier 5 or 6 armor, Enforce, DVLs, thermal visions, etc. I would recommend not selling good ammo too. Sooner or later you will find a use for it. Next tip, disassemble your guns. Take out pistol grip and magazine from your gun and it will take one less row of space. Also don't forget to fold the guns that have foldable stock. Sell the grip and the magazine unless you can't rebuy them from the vendor and you're planning to use the gun. In that case, disassembling the gun still saves you some space. Now let's talk about gun attachments. I always try to mod my guns in stash with the stuff I have found in raids. It can be tricky at the start, but with some practice you will get the hang of it. You may try using link search on attachment or on a specific weapon part, it should show you the item needed for modding. By doing this, you not only save some space, but also you get better performing guns at the same time. There are some nice tips when it comes to attachments and item shrinking and resizing, but the best tip from them all is using weapon handguard that takes 1 square of space and have mod slots for 2 laser sights or flashlights, for foregrip and for reflex sight. Putting mods on those slots will not change the size of the handguard, so it's like 4 slots just for 1 square. From there, you can mod fully modded handguard onto the gun. Okay, so the next one is about insurances. Think about them as extra virtual stash space you have. Pick items from it only when you will go in raid with them, if the expiration timer is close to an end, or you know for sure you will not be able to pick items in time, because you will not be playing for next day or two. One thing you should be aware of, and it was not obvious to me when I started playing, is that you can pick items one by one from insurance screen. The only limit is the insurance expiration timer. For example, you have full kit in insurance, but you are only missing the helmet. You can take only the helmet from the insurance screen, the rest will be saved and ready to be picked up at later time. A little warning here, the receive all button in insurance screen is bugged and may not show you all the insured items. Always scroll up in vendor chat to be sure you picked up all your insurances. Alright, I think this covers all the major tips about saving space. Now let's talk about other aspects of stash management. So the very first thing I always do in my stash is leaving 7 to 10 rows of empty space on top of my stash. To mark that line, I usually put some bigger containers at the edge of it. I use that empty space mostly for gear dumping after the scav runs, but it may be handy for stash sorting, insurance claims and so on. The next thing, I always put one stack of rubles, dollars and euros in my stash, so when I left click cash from my character, it goes into the stack and I don't have to drag it manually. Another overall concept is that I usually don't put containers into another containers. The reason is that I prefer clarity of my stash and I go for the most simple approach, but it's your call in the end. There are some valid reasons why would you want to put container into another one. Those are, for example, running out of space in stash and wanting to have some extra containers, or just for organizing reasons, like putting ammo boxes with attachments, etc. Next one is buying containers only when you need them. For example, you hoard too many attachments, buy item case or weapon case. Too many weapons, weapon case, too many meds, medical case, etc. No matter what to, I would advise to get documents case as fast as possible. You can upgrade to keybar later on. Having your keys in secure container will highly increase your profit opportunities. After that, I would probably get Lucky Scav Junk Box. That thing is lifesaver when it comes to storing barter items and some quest items. At this point, it all depends. Item case is good next candidate as it can store multiple item categories, so it's the most versatile one. Otherwise, just pick containers for items that you always pick up and stockpile in your stash. Also make sure to use stack option on your containers. You can select a color and a name for them. At some point, you should be looking for secure container upgrade. As of now, the next one in size is the beta secure container. You can get it from Peacekeeper at loyalty level 4. After that, there is Epsilon secure container. You can get it for finishing the Punisher questline for Prapor. The last one is the Kappa secure container. You get it for finishing all the quests in the game and then turning in all the streamer items to fans. You have two roads here, rush for beta container or skip it and go straight for Epsilon. And if you ask me, go for Epsilon, because the time frame of getting beta and Epsilon is very close to each other. Maybe BSG will move beta container to Peacekeeper loyalty level 2 or 3, so the progression will be smoother. No matter what, getting any of those containers will require a lot of money. One tip I can give you here, if you decide to go for beta or just want to level up Peacekeeper, don't sell items to him. He gives the lowest price for items compared to other vendors. Just trade your rubles for dollars and it will count as money spent on him. Now let's talk about some items you should consider to keep in your stash no matter what. First category would be the barter items. The rule of thumb for me is to skip barters that require a lot of items. For example, I consider barter of 10 82607 knives for MP5 SMG a terrible barter. On the other hand, 2 Richard Jabel batteries for ADR is amazing one. You should also consider the barter value if you decide what barter items are worth keeping. You don't have to be very strict on those items when you have Lucky Scav Junk Box. Just go for what you like then. Good tip about barter items is using required search option on them. It will give you the list of available barter items in the flea market, that include vendors and other players. It's a good way to check if item is worth keeping and you don't have to remember all the barter combinations out there. Second category of items to keep are quest items. You should only focus on rare quest items, more common items should be easy to gather when needed. Again, this is all prone to change. In my opinion, the most rare ones that require you to find them in raid are Wilson cigarettes, antique vase and antique teapot, fuel conditioner and some streamer items. Alright, now is the real question. How to get all the money to buy all those good containers? Well, it's just a matter of time to be honest, and I would advise not to go hard on it. Just let it roll out organically as you play the game. Forcing yourself to grind may burn you out of the game. If you want to grind on the other hand, you should check some dedicated guides about money farming. My approach is just playing the game and doing scav run every time it's up. I know some people don't want to do scav runs. I was there when I started, I wanted to progress only as my PMC too. But the truth is, game is a lot easier when you sneak in scav run here and there. Also don't worry about dying if you are a new player. Scaving in will help you learn the maps, and knowing map ins and outs is very crucial for success in Escape from Tarkov. With map knowledge comes better survival rate and with that some nice money gains. For fast profit, you can go with your scav into the factory. You will also hone your PvP skills there. I sometimes prefer going into interchange as there are many loot places there, and that includes some spots for quest items. Some people prefer resort on shoreline, some RAM customs. You should also try to learn item values to maximize your gains. The last concept is about what to put into your alpha secure container when you go into the raid. The first big thing will be the documents case or keybar. Then I always have meds in there, something to stop bleeding, painkillers and splint. While it may seem like a good idea to put meds into your pocket or rig to have hotkey on them, I much more prefer saving some cash in case I die, so I don't have to rebuy meds every few raids. If you have bigger container, you can put extra ammo there, load at max or an aid or two. Alright, this is all I have for you guys. If you know any good tricks I missed and you want to share with others, feel free to post them in the comments. See you in raids!